So ever since Apple released the AirPods back in December of 2016, they've been the go-to wireless earphone solution for many consumers. But, and this is a big but, whilst they can be great, particularly if you're an iPhone user, there are some big drawbacks. Firstly, there's the price, $160 US, which is pretty expensive given what you're getting. Then there's the design. They've kind of become iconic by now, but let's be honest, they are really just these white things dangling out of your ears, and they also don't really stay in that well either. And then finally, there's the sound. They're definitely not known for their sound quality. They're comparable to what you'd be getting out of the much cheaper EarPods, which isn't great to be honest, and the sound leak is also pretty bad, but they still remain the benchmark when it comes to wireless earphone solutions, and that I think comes down to the seamlessness in the connectivity process between them and other iPhone and Apple devices. But today I've got 4 alternatives to the AirPods that may just be a better option, particularly if you're looking for an Android alternative or just for something that's cheaper than what the AirPods cost. So in order from most expensive to least expensive, starting off we have the Pamu Scrolls. These are currently only available on the Indiegogo campaign for $79 US, although they will go up to $149 once that campaign is completed. But then after that we have the Treblab X5s. These are $72 US. We then have the Aventry TWS 110s. These are $60 US. And then just for good measure, I'm including a sports variant as well, the Blue 300s from Brainwaves Audio. And these are the cheapest of the bunch, coming in at just $40 US. So we're going to divide the comparison into 3 different categories. Firstly, build quality and design, then audio quality, and then finally, overall user experience. I'm going to rank each of the earphones within these categories and then give you my final thoughts at the end of the video. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, let's start with design. My favorite of the bunch are the Aventry TWS 110s, followed very closely behind by the Pamu Scrolls. Both have this very minimal look to them, although the Aventry is slightly more so. And to be honest, that is what I'm after in a set of wireless earphones. I don't want to stand out. I don't need people staring at my ears. And so subtlety is key here. Following those 2 is the X5s from Treblab. They're actually probably the closest in design to the AirPods, but obviously in black instead of white, but they do have quite a bit of extra length to them compared to the previous 2. So in my mind, definitely a little bit less subtle. Coming in at the rear of the design category are the Blue 300s. They don't have that truly wireless look because of that wire that connects the 2 earphones, although some may prefer that look, and they definitely have a more sporty vibe about them because of that. They also have 2 large controllers on the wire as well, which adds a bit of heft, so that's something I'm not a big fan of, but that is it for the design category. Now, in terms of audio quality, this category is slightly more evenly matched than the previous category, although still with distinct differences in the audio quality and overall experience when listening to audio through each of the earphones. So coming in at the top of the audio quality list are the X5s. These have a very full sound, surprisingly, good low end, and also a very clean overall sound as well. So definitely my favorite sounding earphones overall. Following that, in second place are the Blue 300s. Again, very full and quite bassy. Still a very pleasing experience, similar to the X5s, but not quite as clean a sound to my ears. Coming in third are the Pamu Scrolls. These have a very solid low end to them, although a bit of a crackly high end, although not too noticeable, but definitely enough to bring it down to third place. And finally, we have the 110s, a bit more high end when listening through these earphones, definitely not as full or rich and bassy as the other 3, but I would still say a satisfactory listening experience. I will say that I think these are actually the loudest of the bunch, so keep that in mind, but the overall sound quality, keep the 110s at the bottom of this list. All right, moving to user experience, and this comes down to 2 things basically. How easily I can get connected and listening to the media that I want to listen to, and also any extra features that make the overall experience of using the earphones more enjoyable and seamless. So firstly, each set of earphones has a pretty wide difference in terms of their initial battery lives. 8 hours for the Blue 300s, 6 hours for the X5s, 4 for the 110s, and 3.5 for the Pamu Scrolls. But each of the wireless earphones comes with their own pocket-friendly semi-wireless charging case straight out of the box. And these can offer between 3 and 4 full charges of the earphones, meaning you can at least triple your battery life if you're on the go. The Blue 300s instead rely on being charged up using a standard micro USB cable, and so even though they offer more battery life straight out of the box for continuous listening, you will need to have access to a power supply sooner than the other three options. But for connectivity, the Blue 300s take the cake here, and that is simply because it is one integrated set of earphones, and this means we avoid any confusion in the pairing process. You simply power them on, hold the power button, and it will begin pairing, and then once connected, you're good to go. On the other hand, each of the other truly wireless earphones have their own setup and gesture controlled methods to getting them powered on and connected to your selected device. Now, if you're buying one set of earphones like most normal people will, then you'll no doubt get to know that system quite quickly and it will become second nature in no time. But when you're comparing three sets for a video like this, it can get very confusing very fast. So the Aventries are by far the second easiest to set up and get going with. They're almost as easy as the Blue 300s, which is saying a lot. They also have these tactile buttons, which makes pairing them on and pairing quite seamless and easy. But the other two sets aren't quite as simple. I've ran into several instances now with the Pamu Scrolls and the X5s where I can only get one of the two earphones to connect to my selected device, and for the life of me, I cannot figure out how to connect the second earphone as well. And so I've had to manually dive in to the Bluetooth settings, forget the earphones, and start the pairing process all over again. It's only happened a couple of times with the X5s, which still isn't great, but with the Pamu Scrolls and my Pixel 3 XL, it's actually still an ongoing issue, which has made using them on a regular basis pretty difficult. On the plus side, the Pamu Scrolls do have touch-sensitive controls, which is pretty similar to what you get with the AirPods, and that is quite nice. But for me, seamlessness of connectivity is the priority, and they were a little bit tricky in that regard, and so that's why they come in at the bottom of this category. Again, it could be a little bit of impatience on my part and the fact that I've been switching between 4 sets of wireless earbuds for this video. So I'm hoping and I think that your experience will be better, but I did want to let you know what my experience has been like. So after looking at all of the pros and cons, I am going to give you my personal verdict on what I would go for, but keep in mind, this is to suit my needs and your needs might be different to my needs. On the one hand, we have the sleek and elegant Pamu Scrolls and Aventry TWS 110s, and on the other, we have the seamless and super easy to use Blue 300s. But you also then have to take into account the superior audio quality of the Treblab X5s, as well as the truly wireless functionality of each of the wireless earbuds compared to the less than elegant Blue 300s. But the Blue 300s are by far the cheapest, and the list goes on and on. But after weighing it all up and comparing each of these earphones quite extensively, my number one pick is actually quite comfortably the Aventry TWS 110s. Coming in at $60, they're the second cheapest on this list. They also offer just about as seamless a user experience as I could want, both in the connectivity and pairing process and in the gesture controls. And for mine, they're also the sleekest and most minimal looking of the bunch. Yes, I realized that the audio quality was ranked the lowest out of each of the earphones, but to be fair, it was more than enough for what I wanted out of a set of minimal buds like these. And for those times that I want a higher quality audio listening experience, I'm always going to go for a set of over-ear headphones instead. But to be honest, each of these earphones are going to be pretty good options. Yes, they have their quirks, but they also have their strong suits as well. So I will link each of them down below for you to check out yourself. But that is it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you later.